Okay, my name's Tommy Mello, Tommymello, owner and founder, CEO of A1 Garage Door Service.
Great. And Tommy, who are you and what do you do?
So my name's Tommy Mello. I'm the founder of A1 Garage Door Service. We're in 22 states, 40 markets, approaching over 200 million this year. And what I could tell you, do you want me to just go into it?
Yeah. You could just tell me just briefly what you do. We're going to have a bunch of questions.
Okay.
that we covered.
Definitely look for questions real quick. So, because we sent over an updated one recently, I just want to make sure it's. Okay, awesome.
Okay.
Very cool.
My name's Tommy Mello. I'm the founder and CEO of A1 Garage Door Service. We are in 23 states now, 40 markets. We've got about 300 technicians and 100 installers, and we're buying companies, growing all the time, and sales is a big function of what we do. We go out, it's a B2C company. We repair and install retrofit garage door service. We service anywhere from 15 to 18,000 clients a month.
Great. And Tommy, you can just look at me the whole time.
Okay.
Yeah. And tell me a little bit about your company and who you help.
Yeah, so the garage door, it's basically the garage door is the smile of your home. 40% of your curb appeal. Remodel Magazine 6 years in a row said it's the number one investment you can make into your home. So people have issues with garage doors, they call us. Secondly, a lot of people just want to replace the smile of their home. They want something insulated, they want something that looks good. So they call us out because they want the house to look better. That's usually most of our clients' number one investment, their home. So we help them increase and amplify the smell of their home. And a lot of people have problems. Sometimes people ding the door. Sometimes the opener goes out. Sometimes spring breaks, rollers come out of track. And it's probably the most underutilized or underrealized industry out there. But everybody uses their garage as their front door. And that's their access point. And that's where we come in and save the day for our clients.
Great. And in a few sentences, please tell me what Rilla is and how they help your company.
Yeah, Rilla Voice is actually a machine learning AI tool that listens to the conversation between the client and my technicians. So you put out your iPad or a cell phone, and it's going to record everything and transcribe it, and it's going to make sure that we followed our process, which we've got an 8-step process that we follow to make sure the technician's mentioning certain things. We're offering finance to the client. We're offering a service agreement. It actually tells the speed of which we speak, and it tells us who spoke more, the client or our team, our technician. And what ends up happening is you get those magic moments because it talks to our CRM, which is Service Titan. So you understand conversations and the things being said. We even know if our technicians are smiling when they're talking. And what ends up happening is we make all these correlations. We study the top 10%, and then we're able to use those trainings. It's like a virtual ride along. Instead of having a guy show up and having a supervisor with them at all times, and they never act the same in front of a supervisor, we can actually monitor 25 calls a day. It's like a virtual ride along. And what's so cool about it is there's all these inferences we could make. And I've had certain technicians use it within the first week. We rate every single technician, like 1, 2, 3 in the company each month. We've had technicians, one guy moved from 180 in the company to number 20 within like 7 days of using it because he was able to listen to his own phone calls. And any of you guys that have ever listened to a phone call, you're like, ooh, do I really sound like that? I need to modify that. I said, too much. I didn't sound sure of myself. I wasn't actively listening. I didn't offer the financing correctly. And so they make these modifications. And here's the coolest thing. Our smartest guys, the technicians, they're listening to the top guys' calls. And they're like, oh my God, that's genius. I need to try that out. I need to do this. And they're making instant, massive improvements with the conversion rate and the average ticket, which I think we're helping the client a lot more because those avoid warranty calls. We're fixing the whole system. And that's what really, I was a little skeptical at first. I'm like, AI, it sounds like a buzzword. I'm like, and then I actually saw it in motion. And I was like, okay. And a lot of people are like, well, I can't afford, I'm just going to put it on this part of my team. And I'm like, it's kind of like service side. How could you afford not to use this it's just huge results we've seen. Every technician every guy was skeptical. They're like, you're going to be listening to every conversation? We're like, that's not for that. It's so you can learn. You log in and you learn and you log in because success leaves clues. And you see what's working, you see what's got a higher conversion rate, service to sales, and obviously the larger tickets. And it's a game changer. It literally, like, I've never seen something make a bigger impact in sales because we've got great technicians. You might say, I'm going to bring on this really advanced sales trainer, but you've already got guys doing it. Your top guys are already doing it. Study them and use those for your meetings. Use those for them to study. And then you hold them accountable with the tool. So then you say, you're going to use this stuff, and then you could listen to the recordings, and it's not like you got to listen to the whole recording. You're not listening to 2 hours. You're literally listening to like 8 minutes. You're listening to the highlights of the call. It tells you every reference point within the call. And they made all these analysis that said, 45 minutes in, most of the weak players are telling the customer story, they're giving the price. Well, really, really great technicians are giving a financial offer an hour and a half through and then giving the company story. And the data coming out of this and the things they're building into it, it's the unfair advantage. I mean, I truly believe if my competition doesn't implement these things within the next I'd say the next 6 months to a year, we're going to eat their lunch. And I don't care. I don't really care if they're on it because you're only as good as how well you use the software.
Wow, it seems like it's dramatically changed your company for the better. I mean,
Well, we're seeing every month record after record. And in this year, 2024, people are like, get ready for the storm. Things are going to get tough. And I'm like, we just continue to hit higher conversion rates, higher average tickets. We're not worried about the economy, inflation, the bank crisis, because we're killing it every month. And it's tools like this that change the game for us here at A1 Garage Door Service.
amazing. So, what's the significance of the sales role in running your business? It seems like it's the lifeblood of your business.
There's two things that I consider the mecca of everything: sales and marketing. Sales hides everything. The last few years, sales were easy. It was super easy during COVID. We were essential. It's getting tough now. The company's got to do a better job. Higher conversion rates, higher average ticket, higher customer satisfaction. Sales is everything. Who are we lying to? Like, I'm doing a price increase because Rilla's made us so efficient. And now I have my rehash team that's on Rilla as well. I could use Rilla for my one-on-one meetings. I could use them for my Thursday meetings. I could use them on my interviews. Like, it's the unfair advantage. It truly is.
So, in today's fast-paced sales environment, you touched on this a little bit, but why is it so important to partner with a company like Rilla?
Look, I always say we're a software company that happens to do garage doors. And that's the mentality. Efficiencies, BI tools, and AI and machine learning. These are the game changers. And if you're not implementing these things, I got competition that's still on a paper invoice. There's no chance they stand a chance. I mean, they are going to lose big time because I've got a real life trainer with every single technician on every single call. And as long as we're using the software, which I'll tell you this, I say the majority of people on Rilla, they're not using it to its full potential. They're literally like they would see if they just had a focus and the management jump on and really, really, really dig in deep, they would see massive change. But like every business owner, like, I got a million things, the AI, what do we do with this? If they just took the time to focus, dive in and go all in on it, I promise you're going to see your company double this year.
So, prior to working with Rilla, what pain points or challenges were you experiencing?
So prior to working with Rilla Voice, I don't have guys selling service agreements. I've got certain guys that have never done service to sales. I've got guys that aren't asking for the reviews. I've got people not following our 8-step process. I've got people that don't even offer financing, which we call promotions. And now I actually have a way to validate that it's happening. And it's not to punish them. It's so they make more money. It's so we can help our clients out. So this is more of a compliance thing. And then it's not only what we say, but it's the way we say it. So now I can look at tonality. I can look at how fast I talked. I can listen to how well I listen to the client. And I truly believe, like, I keep saying this, but it will change the game. Nobody's going to keep. I don't understand how you have a chance to even compete when you're not watching and making sure. You could take your worst technician and turn them into a top player within a month of Rilla Voice if it's the right person, right? There's a certain thing, nature versus nurture. How talented are you versus how much can you learn? So you got to get the right people in. I mean, I believe in getting athletes, competitive people in. But if you got a tool like this and you got somebody willing to get trained and learn, lights out. Good night. Go home. Because you're going to be, I mean, we're at 23% bottom line. I believe Rilla Voice will help us get to 30%.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, if it could be stopped, then that'd be great, but I understand there's business going on.
I'm going to keep going. So,
Yeah.
ultimately, there might have been some
I should get an extra fucking shares for this. Go ahead. I should get free Rilla Voice.
I just think that our team is like if Donald Trump gave us an endorsement.
We're rocking on with this.
So ultimately, why did you decide to work with Rilla? Did you look at other options, or was it just?
You know, there's some other AI stuff that claims to be AI, but the user interface is not really where it needs to be. I don't think there's a better integration into Service Titan, and I don't think somebody's investing the dollars to make the forward progression. It's kind of like I'm the first person with a cell phone, and Rilla Voice is going to have the best long-term technology solution. So you get in early, and what I love about them is they're willing to listen and really adapt the software to our needs. And it is the largest, so they've got the most data, and he who has the most data kind of wins because that is what becomes the trainer. And so with true AI, artificial intelligence, it's thinking like a human being and giving you the data you need to conquer your world of technicians and the people that are face-to-face with the client. So that's where we're going to win big. And there's a lot of people popping up with ChatGPT and these little software things. They're not sophisticated. Rilla Voice has the best investors that are willing to invest in a product that's a game changer that could change an industry. And that's you look at who they're backed by. And not to mention the Rilla team. I've been out to New York. I know what they do. They're working all day Saturday. They answer their phone on Sunday. They're available morning, noon, and night. And that's the good thing. I've never seen these guys. They're hustling. They're always hustling. They're growing. And they're investing back into the people and the software and the user interface and just making it better for the contractor.
Great. So from a high level, what have the results been? What did Rilla enable for your company?
Yeah, so what we've seen is the highest opportunity job average ever in the company, the highest conversion rate. And here's the deal. I'm not going to make things up. We're still in the fetal stages of using it. We are working very, very diligently to get the guys. Here's what I love. It's accountability. I can see when my guys log in and what calls they listen to. So a tool is only useful as if you're using it. An axe doesn't work sitting next to a tree. You got to use it to chop down the tree. So we're getting our guys, we're putting this into SOPs, we're making people use it, we're putting it into manuals. We're actually bonusing people to actually get more involved with the software. It's a game changer. I had a guy come back to Phoenix for a retrain. He doubled his skills. This allows you to come to Phoenix every day. You could hear the top guys being it all over the country. It's really hard to do a ride along with a guy in Vegas if you're in Milwaukee. This allows you to do ride alongs with everybody in the company and see different scenarios. Is it a one-car system? Was it an elderly woman? You can look at how to deal with different types of scenarios with clients. And it really just gives you the summary to make it possible to actually, I don't have time to listen. We service a lot of customers. We'll take 1,000 calls today. Now I could just go in and study the top and send these out to my technicians. I had this guy, literally, I found out what he was saying to our clients. He's got the highest conversion rate. He sells the most systems. He uses this, instead of saying you got a failed system, he calls it critical condition. It's in critical condition. That one inference changed the conversion rate for our company. And I was able to see all that through Rilla.
Wow. So you kind of went over how Rilla's benefited you. Did you have any concerns about Rilla before implementation?
Yeah, the biggest concern with Rilla is how are the guys going to, are they going to want to have this tool that's watching them? Because they first think we're going to get in trouble. All the company wants to do is punish us and they want to listen to everything and they're going to criticize. And so my buddy Aaron Gaynor with Eco Plumbers, I talked to their 2 top technicians. These guys are doing $500,000 plus a month in just plumbing. And so I called both the guys. And I remember talking to Adam, one of Aaron's top guys, and he goes, I live in Rilla Voice. He goes, I was doing $200,000 a month. Now I'm doing over $500,000. So I actually had him make a video. And this video, I played to all my technicians. And then he went on and answered questions. So I was really, really careful on the integration because first people were like, I don't want all my calls recorded. I don't, da, 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 da. And I'm like, it's not a punishment. It's to let you make more money. It's allow you to buy a house. It's allow you to pay off your cars. It's allow you to bring your kids to Disney World. Like, you're going to make a lot more money converting clients and selling them more things because I don't want the unit breaking down anytime soon.
Great. So, did you face any challenges with implementation? And then how did you overcome
Well,
that?
the one thing is you don't want to take a company my size and say, let's just scale it out to everybody at once. We started with 10, then we went to 40, then we went to 100, now it's company-wide. So I think when you got a large company, but if you got a company with under 20 technicians, you just bite the bullet and start out. And everybody's like a little apprehensive. They're like, I'm not sure if it's going to work. Well, it will never work if you're not living in the system. ServiceTitan will never work if you don't build the price book and actually use every piece of this tool possible. So you got to dive in. And people are like, it's an expense, but it's not an expense. Rilla Voice is the least thing from an expense. It's an investment. And it changes the whole direction of the company.
So, how would you quantify the ROI of working with Rilla? Do you have any measurable?
Yeah, so we're still, all I would say with this, if you do not get a 10X, if you can't add, I'm going to spend about $700,000 with Rilla this year. If I don't get an extra $7 million of profit, then I'm failing to implement the software. So I look at things, I love a 10X. I don't need a 10X because EBITDA is going to get a multiple. The way I look at math, I'm separating myself from the herd so far that it's like, we're the platform company in garage doors. There's nobody else like us. If I don't adopt a tool like this to stay ahead of the game, like, I don't ever look at this and go, oh, poor me, I got to spend more money. I'm like, we're just separating ourselves so much. How does anybody compete when I'm able to train every single guy on every single job? It doesn't even make sense. Like, and everybody's like, oh God, I can't spend the money. You can't spend the money because you're broke, because you don't have the conversion rate in the average tickets. You can't spend the money because you'll never invest in yourself. You can't spend the money because you're afraid that you're a bad operator, won't be able to implement it correctly. So you keep thinking about how hard it's going to be to implement and how expensive this is when we run away and eat your lunch, because it's going to be very hard to compete. It will be very, very hard. If you want to hire 20 supervisors to run on every call, you do the math on that. Let's just say you're paying them 75 grand each. You get 10 of them, that's 750 grand. I'm listening to every single call, every single job, every single meeting through this software. And the development that I know these guys are working on, and I'm friends with Sebastian. He kind of gave me some insights. It's like it's only going to go straight up. Like right now, it's super valuable. It's like it's the biggest game changer we've had since ServiceTitan. But where it's going, like if you don't get it now, like I said, it's going to be very, very difficult.
Gotcha. And you touched on a little bit like a specific sales rep that you experienced the most growth. You said did you want to?
So here's one thing. I have this guy named Casey, okay? And he started studying Rilla Voice. And we've got this thing called a Pinnacle Trip. You've got to do this huge amount of revenue to make Pinnacle Trip. And you get equity in the company if you make it. And this guy was a goner. We wrote him off to come into the trip. He got on it in, I believe, August. And all of a sudden, that next month was like, boom. And all the managers were like, holy crap, dude, Casey might have a chance. And the next month was even bigger. And the next month, then he made Pinnacle. And the dude is like, I asked him, I said, how is this even possible? He's like, Rilla Voice. He's like, I just studied my recordings. He goes, I found all these problems with myself. And then I started seeing some of the better guys using their terminology, slowing down, smiling, matching my tone, matching how many words I was saying, active listening. And that's what changed the game. And if he could do it from like not even having a chance to make Pinnacle to making it, like this is the goal. I'm going to make my top guys better, but I'm going to pull the bottom guys up to the top. And to do that, I mean, literally, you talk about capacity planning. Everybody's blaming marketing right now. Marketing's not doing their job. But your sales average sucks. Your conversion rate sucks. You're not booking most of your phone calls. You got to do more with what you've got. And Rilla Voice allows that to happen.
Great. And what would your sales manager's job look like without Rilla?
Well, it's tough. You do ride-alongs, right? You're monitoring performance, but you have no actual data. You're trying to make you're trying to make these assumptions, but you don't really have the data. You don't really know. You're like, why aren't they selling service agreements? And what does the guy say? We're offering it on every job. No one's just buying it. No, let me just hear what's going on. And it's never going to be like slapping their wrist and saying you're screwing up, just saying, hey, try this next time. I'm going to send you a call, and then I'm going to monitor these calls. So you look for one change of behavior, and then you instill that, give them the knowledge they need. And once they do that, you go on to the next thing. So after a few months, it's like you take this guy down here. As long as they've got a will, we find a way, and they move up to here.
How many ride-alongs, physical ride-alongs, were you doing before Rilla?
Not a lot. I mean, literally, we are so busy. We've hired this month 50 technicians. I don't have time to do ride-alongs with every guy. Like, we don't have the infrastructure to just do ride-alongs all the time. And there's a different behavior when you're with a supervisor. Like, now all of a sudden you're doing everything right, you're smiling. It's just an accountability tool. And you study success, and I don't like doing ride-alongs because you really don't get the real data.
And then how many virtual ride-alongs are you able to do now?
Let's put it this way. Virtual ride-alongs, every single job. We had 727 customer courtesy calls. It cost me $185 to run a truck to one courtesy call. If I just fix that alone with Rilla Voice, it pays for itself for 2 years. Just that 1 month. Not to mention the sales conversion rate, service to sales, all the other factors it does. I do every single call as a ride-along, and you don't need to. You study the top guys and you disperse that throughout the company, and you look at the bottom guys, not to reprimand them, but to help them solve the issues of conversion rate and average ticket.
So in your opinion, what's the biggest benefit of working with Rilla?
The biggest benefit of working with Rilla is it's going to increase conversion rate. It creates accountability, and it's going to increase average tickets. It's going to keep clients happier, and it's going to get me more reviews. It's going to make the company a lot more EBITDA, and overall, Rilla's going to win because we're going to be a client for life, and we're going to win because we're going to make a shit ton of money.
And how has your experience been working with the team at Rilla?
Yeah, they're just really receptive. The team at Rilla, they answer their phones. They're very good at communicating. You know, Sebastian is a little extravagant. He gets Gary Vanderchuk and these other guys. I always get like a VIP ticket to this stuff. So he's getting me around the right people. He's making an investment in us all the time. His whole team is receptive. They work hard. They communicate well. And I think it's a game changer because they're so ahead of the curve.
And then, would you recommend Rilla, and if yes, to whom and why?
Look, Rilla Voice is for a company that's going to do something with it. There's a lot of mom and pop shops out there that don't even know what they're doing with technology. They're not even on a CRM yet. I don't know if Rilla Voice is for everybody, but what I can say is the companies that are trying to grow, that are trying to change the outcome of this year, which is going to be a pretty tough year. If you're not using it, I feel bad for you. I really do, because either you're not implementing it, you think it's too expensive, or you just don't want to. Like for me, I want to help my people. I want to see my people buy houses. I want to see them go on their dream vacations. This tool allows me to help everybody. And it helps my managers hit their bonuses. It helps my PE company, like with their limited partners. It helps everybody. But you got to be ready for it. It's like you can't buy a tool and then not use it. So all I would say, if you're going to make the investment, which it's a fair investment, you got to use it.
Cool. Any final thoughts?
No, listen, at the end of the day, I think Rilla Voice is the real deal. I think there's some competitors popping out of the woodwork, but they're not as sophisticated. They don't really know what they're doing. And I just would say a lot of the people I meet are like, we're testing it out with 5 people, and they've got 30. And if they just went all in, if they just had a little faith, I mean, what was cool about it is Rilla was able to just say, hey, listen, why don't you try it for 90 days? And when we saw the impact, we just went all in. And that's because we actually used it. We've got our managers. Yesterday, I sent a text message to all my market managers. I said, we're going to make it mandatory that you guys spend an hour on Rilla a day. And here's the part that you're going to hate. You're going to listen to these calls. You're going to go, it's like, You don't even want to hear it. It's like kind of going to the doctor. But when you go to the doctor, you fix it. Everything's better. You're healthier. You feel better. And then the profitability, the conversion rate, the happy clients, it's just win-win-win across the board. So I would say if you're going to go in, go all in. And I'd say if you're not going to go in, tell me what market you're in, because that's where I'm going next.
That's great. That's it.
All right, sweet.
Thank you.